I think we'll keep it pretty short. So the whole idea about this pre-revenue checklist that we call it, or that CREDAI National Youth Wing calls it, is that I think as developers, a big challenge that we all face is that once we get a proposal and finalize a deal, and then till the launch stage, I think there are various activities which go into preparing for the project. And I think all of us do it in our own ways, manage it in our own ways, track it in our own ways, but it's never been that we could get something as a tracker or a master checklist which can help us to monitor this whole space, which is a big vacuum. We generally manage our projects once it's started, but what happens when you buy the land and even plan before buying the land and right till the launch? A lot of things are done in a very ad hoc manner, I would say, including all of us. So National came out with this exceptional format of maintaining everything under one Excel file with multiple sheets, multiple templates to manage this entire exercise right from feasibility up to the launch of the project. And we in the last few months managed to customize it to an extent to our Bengal standards and requirements and etc. A lot of things which were not necessary from a national point of view has been removed, has been customized. So now I think we are more or less ready to bring it out officially to all the Bengal members, and this will be rolled out after a brief introduction today to all members tomorrow onwards, who can start utilizing it in their own ways. Obviously, it's still evolving. It's not that it's finalized. 3-4 of us have got together and tried to fine-tune this. So you're most welcome to give your suggestions, inputs. Once things are shared, we can evolve it further, and then we can have a absolutely concrete sheet. So we'll just quickly run you through these sheets. We might not get into too much of details because we don't have about 15-20 minutes. You all can obviously review it once it's shared to all of you. So just to tell you all how it's been structured, this is the master list. This has multiple phases of the project, which is right from 1 to I think 48 phases. And this is right from the initial stages of when you're planning to consider a proposal right till the launching of the project. So the first phase is of course the land acquisition. By land acquisition we mean right from the proposal where you are checking various aspects about the land, the feasibility of the land. That also has a design feasibility, market study, verifying various service related issues, financial feasibility, legal due diligence, financial closure, and then obviously the execution of the either the sale deed or the joint venture agreement. For against this, there are about 3 or 4 templates, which is the pre-design checklist. On the right you can see those hyperlinks. Pre-design checklist, micro market analysis, financial feasibility, financial closure checklist. We just run you through these smaller checklists also just for a brief understanding. Rahul, do you want to just open one of those financial feasibility notes? I think Rahul, you can take them through the financial feasibility.
So I'm sure we all make a financial feasibility report once we are keen on buying a land or doing a joint venture, and we all do it in our own ways. But this we found that it was done in a more structured way, where in the first column, if you see in the project overview, we fill up the data as per our historical knowledges about what would be the FAR, what would be the base selling price, what would be our construction costs, and what will you actually what will be the profit of the project, which is the normal project P&L that we make. But this is in a more structured way, in which the expenses are also very minutely given, and the different costs are given as as per budgeted prices, and what is the profit after tax. So this all looks very simple, but what is most interesting in this is the third part, which are the key metrics, which I think most of us don't do, including me. But as an organization, we have started doing this, is what is making the cash flow statements after giving all those inputs. With the cash flow statements, you get the project IRR, which is most important. You get your equity IRR, as in how much IRR, how much return you are getting on your own equity, on what you are investing. What are your PAT margins? The most interesting is your peak investment requirement. Sometimes we take a project in which the initial costs are very less, but we fail to understand that the project might be very big. You have to incur your sanction cost, you have to incur your experience center cost before money starts flowing in. So what will be the peak investment required by a certain organization, by themselves or by if they can raise money? So this is most important. What is the investment multiple are you getting? How much you are investing and how much are you getting in return? What is the break-even point? If there is a 1000 flat project or a 800 flat project, these things become very important, because you know that after selling 600 odd units or some X amount of units, you are free in that project and the rest of the flats are your profit. So this is more or less the financial feasibility report.
So like every page, once you go to the sheet, it's linked back to the index page. So it will help you to shuffle back to the master sheet immediately from there itself.
Second, we go to the pre-design checklist. Rachit will take you forward.
So again, pre-design checklist, very again divided into multiple categories like road, aviation, roadway. You obviously check your road width. Again, the road width, kya FSI hai, nahi hai. What is the distance from the metro, whether they get a metro FSI or not. What zones are they coming under? Are they again in the local panchayat, their municipality, depending on all of that. Those are the checks that we need to do. Then the aviation, based on the AMSL, we actually end up taking airport NOCs later, but what we realize now recently in some of our last few projects that it's better to check the coordinates from before and at least take a basic height, because in multiple situations this happened that after taking the deal, so we realized that the height is an issue. So your FARs don't get consumed, rather than this another is a basic check. Then there is soil investigation, which can also be done at the beginning of taking a deal, because that adds up to a cost. The cost difference of variation in foundation cost can vary anywhere between 100 to 250 rupees a square feet depending on the soil condition.
And time be advanced over there if you have the soil test.
Yeah, then you can definitely advance your design as well. Yeah, and then about the on-site survey, what you need to do, coordinates of the plot, checking on which bylaws are applicable, what are the applicable rules for this particular plot, etc. Then whether there are any, these are basically to check on the ground level whether there are any heritage cables, whether existing trees, any heritage applicability, land sealing, nature of land, water body, defense, KOPB. So all these basic departments under which you could get stuck or where you might need a NOC or some sort of a clearance are listed down here. I mean, this is just a reference list. You can see what's applicable to you and then accordingly check back before getting into the closure of the deal.
And we try to make this very comprehensive, so don't get too overwhelmed by it. But इसमें हो सकता है 10 चीज़ दिखाया है आपको 6-5 चीज़ applicable है, तो आप खाली वही चीज़ पिक चूज करो, बाकी चीज़ को ignore करो.
And the other basic checks like AMSL, drainage, electricity, tube, etc. So I'm not getting to the details. Again, the local infrastructure study. So yeah, this is about the pre-design checklist. This helps you to kind of, so if you have the checklist ready, when you go into the design stage or planning stage, it will help this become like a sort of a reckoner for people to follow. Then you have the micro market analysis. This just helps you to, so everybody does this, everybody does it in their own way, but this is a lot more comprehensive. If you see right from the normal launch date completion everybody has, the locality, project status, land area, number of BHKs, unit sizes, total new units launched, availability, sales done, etc. So if you see there's a plethora of things which are covered and there's nothing missed. Now maybe you might be able to capture some and not be able to capture some, but it will definitely help you to do a lot more analysis before you get into your pricing discussion and all of that. So this is another sample list that was that has been made. Again, the sale velocity, how has it been every quarter? I mean, to that detail, so this has been done by a Pune developer who is a national head of youth as well. And this was for one of his projects. So this is the detail that he has actually got into in his
sale velocity में खाली एक point I'd like to add what Rahul was showing the financial feasibility कैसे हम लोग पढ़ता निकालते हैं कोई प्रोजेक्ट आता है. A lot of us look at कि हम लोग का कितना कैपिटल इन्वेस्टमेंट हो रहा है, कितना साल में वो रुपया घूम के वापस आके अपना कितना प्रॉफिट निकलेगा. But what makes or breaks us is actually the cash flows. A project will be very lucrative, maybe profitability wise, but you need to see कि आपका cash flow appetite कितना है, उतना रुपया घुमाने के लिए आपको घर से कितना लगाना पड़ेगा. सेल प्राइस हम लोग देखते हैं कि ये प्रोजेक्ट उठा रहे हैं, राजघाट में उठा रहे हैं, यहाँ पे 6,000 या 7,000 में एवरेज बेच देंगे. But what is going to be sales velocity is a very important function which helps you make your projected cash flows, which ultimately shows you those decision making figures कि मेरा IRR कितना निकल रहा है, मेरा peak investment figure कितना है. So sales velocity is something very important for us to consider while considering any new project.
And this data we'll get once RERA is fully active and a lot of.
आज के लिए थोड़ा subjective है, हम लोग market से, brokers से, अपने selling team से लेते हैं, but RERA this becomes in the public domain.
Financial closure checklist, I think we can skip now. Next set was about finalization of consultants.
So this. So first stage is done. जहाँ पे पर्दा निकाल लिया, we have signed the deal, we have acquired the land. Now the first thing we need to do is accumulate our team of consultants who are going to be working on the project. तो यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं जो 6-7 चीज है ये बात index. The kind of things that we need to do. Firstly, we need to have a project brief of the consultants prepared कि हम कितना बड़ा जमीन है उसमें हमने कुछ E+10 कितना मकान लाना है, क्या कॉन्फ़िगरेशन का लाना है. कंसल्टेंट्स के लिस्ट आजकल इतने लंबा हो गए हैं कि we have a specialized landscaping, geocon, geotesting, airport, KMC, environment, fire, MEP, etc. So the consultants list is also there. We need to of course सबसे पहले architectural layout concept फाइनल करते हैं, उसकी basis पे structure, services, landscape भी आती हैं. The two documents given here is for reference. One is a design brief to architect. Just open that. I would like to say कि मैं अभी नया project plan कर रहा था where I've actually used this and it's helped me. No, initially हम लोग क्या करते थे, कोई नया project आया, we finalize an architect say ABC. We meet that architect, हमारा first meeting होता है जहाँ पे मोटा मोटी उसको समझाया जाता है कि इतनी बड़ी जमीन है, this is what I'm looking at. मेरे को यहाँ पे 2 BHK या 3 BHK बनाना है 1000 स्क्वायर फीट में या 1200 स्क्वायर फीट में. Loading percentages मोटा मोटी इतना प्लस माइनस होना चाहिए. So this was a kind of brief traditionally that was given. But now because we are having so much data कि अगल बगल में वहाँ पे क्या sales हो रहे हैं from the market survey report, we need to actually go and break up into कि रूम की साइजेस मेरे को क्या चाहिए, लिविंग रूम की साइज क्या चाहिए, किचन की साइज क्या चाहिए, बाथरूम की साइज क्या चाहिए. It is not just about कि मेरे को 1200 स्क्वायर फीट का फ्लैट बनाना है. And in the design process we know we need to think about many parameters, the design, aesthetics, natural light, ventilation, vastu. There are many dynamics which come into that, but this all remains a central point. मेरे को end result ये चीज़ चाहिए. So this is a very good document. जब आप project लो, आप शांति से ही अपने design team या sales team के संग बैठ के बनाओ, and then you give this to the architect. It helps him as well on day zero to be very clear कि what my client needs. You don't need to go in different loops of iterations to revise this again and again. So that's basically this document. Again, we'll have this for reference. Next, Rahul.
Some important, couple of important metrics that I think have been specified. I'm not sure if all of us take care of it. Is the construction versus sellable area ratio. I think a lot of us have this basic briefing about कितना गाड़ी चाहिए, कितना क्या चाहिए, but ultimately we don't realize that our ratio of saleable versus constructed is gone so haywire because of providing more parking or more basement and stuff like that. We go overboard with that, and ultimately our costing when you're calculating on the constructed area, whereas your saleable area is much lesser. So your overall cost shoots up much more when you bring it down back to your saleable area. So I think this is an important metric that should be defined right from day one of the design brief itself. That will help you to control your budgets and costs much more efficient.
Consultants is very basic. Again, we'll just show it to you for a second. What are the
It's quite
type
exhaustive.
of consultants that you need? So if given all of it here, you may need only 20% of this to do a project. But I think any consultant that you can think of is on this board.
Consultant agencies, everyone.
आप जब प्रोजेक्ट नया चालू कर रहे हो, एक दिन शांति से बैठ के खोल के इसके सामने आप डाल दोगे मेरे को. आर्किटेक्ट ने मानिए ये 3 आदमी है जिससे बात करना है, MEP में प्रोस्पेक्टिव में रहे 3 आदमी, जैसे नक्की होते जाए वैसे ही यहाँ पे डालते जाओ. So that ultimately transforms into your approved consultant list for your project as well.
Plus it's a ready reckoner even once you finalize.
We have all the details here.
Contact details of each of the
ये sheet भर के
persons.
देते हैं अपने ऑफिस में किसी को, he can follow up, fix up meetings, keep updating the status.
So in case somebody leaves and hands over also, it's a much easier process if you're following these.
Just imagine today in your office, whoever is coordinating with your designers and consultants, that person leaves, a new person comes in. तो हमारा कितना टाइम जाता होगा बोलने के लिए, अरे ये हफीज़ का प्रोजेक्ट है, हफीज़ में ये एसोसिएट उसका ये नंबर है, ये ईमेल है, ये MEP में फायर वाला ये, इलेक्ट्रिक वाला ये, प्लम्बिंग वाला ये. A lot of that handover process becomes so simple. Some person is going, a new person is coming in, you just show them this list and he knows within an hour कि कौन आदमी क्या काम कर रहा है.
Yeah, so I think after finalizing the consultant, you obviously get into the design and planning based on the brief that has gone to the architect, based on your micro market analysis that you've done, based on on various aspects. You get into the detailing of the services, landscape, approval of the design concept. So obviously this market survey and all that will help you to build on this aspect of your planning, which I think will expedite a lot more if these checklists are in place. So we're not getting into those details of design and planning. I think you all are already quite hands-on with that. Then we have this government NOCs and approvals.
The most painstaking stage.
And which is obviously the most painful thing for all of us. And I think all of us are literally spending 70 or 80% of our time just kind of monitoring this. So if we can get all of this under a particular tracker, where is what is happening, where is it stuck, who are the right concerned people for it, and how to kind of go about this whole NOC process. And what's more important is that everything is listed together. You don't have to keep getting back and asking about certain NOCs, uska kya hai, nahi hai. I'll give you an example. In one of my projects, I'm moving towards CC, but I didn't realize my airport NOC is already expired, probably a year ago. And now I'm realizing that I need to kind of reapply. So now we made a system of maintaining the end dates of each of our NOCs. And he suggested one more thing, that there's a pop-up which comes to him that if something is going to expire 1 month prior to that end date, it comes to him saying that we need to renew. So unless you have a ready list of all of these things maintained properly with dates, etc. So what we are just trying to enable is to give you that sort of a format, keep certain things, exclude certain things, and then accordingly maintain the track. So this is about you can just open the approvals checklist. So if you see again a very detailed right from the land acquisition up to the provisional NOC. So land acquisition, financial closure, term sheet, joint venture agreement, sale agreement, what are the prerequisites? Close these also. That is also mentioned in the next
But the beauty of this sheet is not on the left side. Left side जो है वो हमारे सब माथे में रहेगा. It's on the right side where we can plan it कि मेरे को ये काम करना है, 10 NOCs लेने हैं, क्या sequence रहेगा, what is my target date, अगर मेरे को 6 महीने में project launch करना है, मैं backward calculation करके अपना देखा कि मेरे को fire में मानिए आज जमा देता हूँ 1 महीना मिलता है FSR, then I have to go to sanction, then I have to go to environment. So I can plan those dates, put it here and keep tracking this on a maybe bi-weekly or a monthly level. मेरे टीम से कौन हैंडल कर रहा है उसका नाम डाल दिया, टीम के नीचे प्रायोरिटी डाल दिया, land actual dates आ गए, so everything becomes crystal clear for you to monitor and fast track your process.
And who's the owner, who's the person responsible, etc. So yeah, this keep going down. So if you see all of these departments, you would have definitely heard of, and it's just that everything put under one list, so it's much easier for you, including the building plan sanction, which is the end of all these NOCs. And that also has, depending on which zone you're falling into, accordingly it will alter. Then you have the environment clearance, whatever the applicability, when, etc., dates, everything is there. So right till the RERA registration. So now this is again a compiled list of everything that you need right from assigning to the RERA registration, which makes you launch ready. I mean, without this you cannot launch your project. Yeah. So the EC checklist is also there. I'm not getting into that. This is a basic list. So right now what we're doing in EC is literally dependent on only the consultant. XYZ being a classic example. So wherever EC is applicable, you're very dependent on them. You don't know what's going on. Honestly speaking, we don't know also. Then once you submit a file, after that, kahan pe atka hai, kyun atka hai, what is the issue, which document is pending, what are the sort of documents required. So this EC checklist, just ek baar khol lega. Actually, this checklist definitely will be maintained by them. This can be maintained by you itself, and the entire detailed thing is given right from what are the documents required for the building, also pre-certification, final certificate, etc. What is required with planned dates, start dates, end dates. So for you to track with your consultants a little more in detail and to understand where is the exact pain point can be easily done through this. So while you are sitting with a consultant also. Yeah, another example of green building, while we were discussing and debating on this, so when you're taking our CC in KMC, after you finish work, all of us are rushing that we have CC lena. What I didn't realize is that for that, before taking a CC, you need to take a final certification of green building. Now, green building certification does not happen unless your project complete to at least 90%, 95%. Little bit of fudging you can do, but otherwise it's very difficult. So even though I thought I'll process my CC and I'll start giving fit outs in 2 months from that particular date, I didn't realize that by that time, then I had to go back to the green. A green there are certain systems wherein one consultant, so once a file goes in, sometimes it takes 1 month, sometimes it takes 1.5 months, sometimes it takes 2 months also to get a final certification. Because जब वो checking करने जा रहा है, not just physical point of view, paperwork is so painful that if you are not maintaining all that paperwork right from day one, it kind of takes almost 35-40 days for me to arrange the paperwork because nothing was ready. In the sense that आज वो जो bills चाहिए, जहाँ supplier से purchase कर रहे हो, क्या कर रहे हैं, certification चाहिए, मतलब and very stupid mistakes also happen wherein somebody asks for like you need for green building, you need a 2 liter, 4 liter sort of a tank flushing system. And I did a 4 and 6. Now the company is not giving me a certification saying that you take it 2 and 4. So those sort of issues keep coming up, and because of that delays happen. So I think if you can maintain this properly, this will help you to kind of, even that after post-construction process also will help you kind of streamline your timelines as well. Yeah, so after all of the NOCs, after your RERA sanction, while you are at the RERA sanction stage, this is not a later activity, this is a parallel activity. So you need to start much in advance this as well. You want to talk about marketing or what? So micro market analysis already spoke about. That's the broad analysis that we do. Then the unit plan study, pricing study, finalization. We just showed you the detail of the marketing, the list. I think this one is. So this list, guys, I think a lot of people here are interested a lot into marketing. If you see this particular list, right from launch date to campaign routes, to brochure requirements for offline collaterals, each and everything that you might require for a 360 launch can be pre-planned with the agencies, with some dates in mind, with everything, so that it falls into your launch backwards. There are so many things in this that we do with just with our experience and with our standard
और लास्ट में
discussion.
प्रेशर होता है क्रिएटिव को हायर करते क्रिएटिव को बोलते बॉक्स चाहिए 15 दिन में
And वो pressure के अंदर में फिर वो कचरा ही निकलता है, honestly speaking.
So
We don't give time to it.
then all of that activities you can get at lesser cost in the best possible time and the best possible quality. But the problem lies in us, not in our consultants, because we don't plan ourselves. That's why consultants are in a mess. So we should focus on ourselves. These sheets will help you with that.
Yeah.
It's pretty exhaustive, guys, and actually
Don't get overwhelmed.
I have used this sheet, actually a part of it at least, and it has helped me a lot in launching my project on time.
Again, the beauty lies on the right side of the sheet, not on the left side.
Absolutely. So for the marketing and sales planning, this is there are other checklists as well on the pricing survey and all of that. That I think we'll skip. We can get into more details when we share that with you. The project planning after that, I think we'll ask Yashi.
Project planning again now, my sales plan is almost finalized, my approvals are almost getting finalized. So now I need to deep dive into my planning process and kickstart that. To kickstart that, what are the kind of things we need to do? आपने कोई project charter document बनाना चाहिए, जहाँ पे all the list of consultants, key personnel internally and externally are listed. Again, that becomes a very valuable document because कोई भी project usually spans from 3 years going up to 7, 8, 10 years also for very large scale projects. So this is again that very quickly you can go through this. All of these things are listed there. Again, this helps you in change management and having all your documents and things in place in one centralized location.
This remains fixed like through the project. So,
Yeah.
Unless you change consultants and change certain
It
things.
doesn't happen very often.
Yeah.
Then just go back to the main master. This they can go through and they get it. Yeah, again a very important thing which we should finalize is कि अगर हम project ले रहे हैं, चाहे वो 1 लाख फुट का हो, 10 लाख फुट का हो या 1 करोड़ फुट का हो, the kind of team size we require internally or outsourced people is very important. तो आप अपना project wise org charts बना सकते हैं, your team size, team strength, all of that you should make a project organogram. If you need to start any additional recruitments, get specialized people. As Sanjay uncle said today कि हम लोग कैलकाटा में ये philosophy नहीं है कि हम लोग अच्छे लोग लाते हैं. You know, one of the cheapest investments that we can make is on our manpower. So that organogram helps you with that. Learnings. A lot of us, this is important, very simple, but it's just a mindset. हम लोग जैसे मैं बात करूँ अपने 40 साल से हमारी कंपनी चल रही है. I'm the third generation family member into this. There have been so many learnings across the last 40 years, but nowhere these learnings have been documented. जैसे संजय पर आज बात कर रहे थे 1980 में उन्होंने पहली बिल्डिंग बनाई थी. Today, you know, he's partnered with us and made something at the 42. So there have been so many learnings where he has learned, but it's all there in the mind. But once that person vanishes away, then entire value which your organization has and which only you and you have, no one else has that, is lost. So why not keep putting all your important learnings in a simple document like this? जब भी कोई चैलेंज या प्रॉब्लम आता है आपके डे टू डे लाइफ में, आपकी साइट लेवल पे हो या कोई भी चीज़ बिजनेस रिलेटेड हो, put that as a learning here. Make this document transparent and readily available to leadership team or the second level team in your organization. ताकि again you have people coming in, going out. A lot of times when you're starting a new project, आप planning stage में हो, जो पिछले project में complete किए उसमें क्या-क्या execution में challenges आए, that has been here. You can share that. कैटेगरी वाइज विद लिस्ट ऑफ कंसल्टेंट्स ऑल्सो. मैं ये प्रोजेक्ट बना था, मेरे को पाइप ये नीचे लाने से ये दिक्कत हुआ, वहाँ पे सनगन स्लैब में ये दिक्कत हुआ. सो ऑल ऑफ दैट रिमेन्स हियर एंड इट रियली हेल्प्स योर टीम, यू एज वेल एज योर एक्सटर्नल कंसल्टेंट्स टू इवॉल्व फ्रॉम दिस रादर दैन जस्ट डिपेंड ऑन योर मेमोरी. Project amenity specifications, drawing checklists, these are very standard documents.
But not more exhaustive.
But not more exhaustive, and again the entire purpose is all of you should have this in one place. It helps you just manage things better and not waste time in retrieving documents from different places.
And I mean, in the end now, obviously the last stage is the preparation for the launch, which includes setting up the site office, marketing experience center, what should be the approach, the approach road, preparation of that, landscape, etc., etc. This is more physical, and then you have your RERA approvals. This entire launch checklist, whether it's been completely fulfilled or not, all the checkpoints are done or not, and then announcement of the launch and starting up. Like, so this is just the end of it. There is no special checklist for this, but yeah, this is where you mark the end of this whole exercise. So
and you can put dates on across each activity. So you have on the right side of this master sheet as well. What should be your planned dates? Depending on your launch date, you backward calculate and put in all the dates. Delegate it to the concerned persons from your team. Sales and marketing का जो चीज़ है, you can tell your marketing lead to do that. Put in his name there. Put in his planned dates, actual dates, and you can monitor from there. This becomes your central monitoring sheet.
Exactly. So I think this will remain as your master chart, and then you can keep reviewing, monitoring this weekly, bi-weekly. I mean, whatever form you want to. But it will definitely help you to progress faster and reduce the entire duration or timeline that we are generally taking, right? From the buying of the land to the launch.
And ensure no unnecessary crisis comes on us because of our unplanned nature. There's no firefighting that we need.
And I think it's applicable to all sizes of the project. It's not that it kind of is applicable only to a large project or something. A lot of things might not be required, which can always be removed, etc. So I think, guys, this was about this whole checklist. We want to officially give it out to everybody, and it will be useful to everyone. The intention is that we start sharing these sort of things that we're doing on a larger level. Say Yash might be doing in a much larger way. We start sharing all of this. We start knowledge sharing. We'll build a complete bank. So apart from this, there are a lot more things which will come up. And the intent is to start the learning process and start sharing the learning that we are getting, from across the country. And with Yash becoming more active now in the national youth as well, you'll start hopefully seeing a lot more new interesting things coming in the year. So I think this is one of it. I hope you guys
just some feedback, guys. I mean, we've come to the end of it. All of these links will go to you by email. But just some feedback from you, whether investing these 2 hours on a Saturday was worth it. would you want these sessions in future or not? Just some feedback from whatever you guys feel.